Hello guys, and welcome to pallet flipping, guys. So what we're going to go over in this pallet flipping course is we're going to basically talk about pallet flipping, what it is, what it's about, things of that nature. We have got flooded with lots and lots of questions about pallet flipping, and we are so excited to have this conversation with you. So first of all, what is pallet flipping? Pallet flipping means store liquidations, overstock, shelf pulls, and returns. Okay, so every major chain store has to liquidate their product. They have to do something with their returns. They have to do something with their overstocks because they are continually getting thousands and thousands and thousands of new products on the market every week, every month, every year. So in order for them to get the new product on their shelves, they basically clear out all of the old stock and inventory and replace it with the new stuff that's coming in. Now, that does not mean that they're not currently selling those items at this time. It just means that they are overstocked with them. Maybe it's selling a little bit slower in their stores and they have a lot sitting in their warehouse and they have new seasonal stuff that's coming in and they have to make room for the new seasonal items that have come in. So this is where we come into play. We come into play. So basically there's a broker that bids on the items that these stores have, and they purchase them and then they part them out by the truck. Okay, they part them out by the truckload. A truckload is 26 pallets. Okay, and that's when smaller people sell it. So we don't get them directly from Amazon, Target, or anything like that. There's actually two people in between us and the actual suppliers that's liquidating, right? So with that being said, I guess you're wondering what store does these liquidations. So everybody is hung up on the Amazon pallets, but we are here to tell you that Amazon is not the only ones that do overstock, shelf pulls, returns, etc. Okay, you have Amazon, Walmart, Target, Von Maur, Bloomingdale's, Macy's, Lowe's, Home Depot, Sam's. Literally every major chain store has a liquidation process and they have to do something with their items. So when you get into this pallet flipping world, there's a lot of things that you need to consider when you're getting into pallet flipping. Okay, so a lot of people say, well, why the mentorship? The mentorship is to help you to choose what you're wanting to purchase, and give you the ins and outs of it, because there are a lot of horror stories out there about people getting scammed on pallets. And I just had this very conversation with somebody. They purchased a business conversation about pallet flipping. By the way, that's $49.99 if you want to have a one-on-one business conversation with me. It's a 45-minute conversation. I'll answer any question that you may have besides what are our vendors. So she was telling me that she bought 2 pallets online and she got scammed. So basically she bought pallets that were $500. I think they were $250 and $250. So she spent $500 and her pallet came in. Well, guess what? Her pallet came in the regular mail, USPS mail, and it was literally 2 boxes. And inside these 2 boxes, these 2 large boxes, were one item in each box. And she paid $500 for 2 boxes, guys. So she got scammed, basically. She really got scammed. So that's why a pallet flipping course is necessary when you're getting into this business, guys. So here's some things to consider when you're getting into this pallet flipping business. You need to consider what you're looking for, the kind of items you're looking for, where you want them from, and how to get the best bang for your buck, right? So with that being said, this is why we are necessary. What we offer in our mentorship is basically, it's a 7-day mentorship that we offer you that extends to a full 30 days. So with a 7-day mentorship, we are going to give you at least one vendor in your location that you can actually shop with. We're going to vet that vendor for you guys, so that way we're going to do all the work for you, right? So there's people who say, oh, well, we really don't need that. Why pay you all of this money to do something that we can do? Y'all, the truth of the matter is, you can do all the research your own self. You really can. If you have the time, if you have some weeks and months to do the research, by all means, go ahead and do it. But let me tell you what we're going to do. We're going to give you the information, and it's only going to take us 7 days to hand feed you that information, right? Also, I would tell you this. These vendors don't want to be found. The vendors with this pallet flipping that sell pallets, they do not want to be found. And I'll tell you why they don't want to be found. They don't want people coming in by individual pallets. They want people buying by the truckload. So many people have gone to buying by the truckload because we have all of these bin stores that are popping up. And guess what? These bin stores have taken over these vendors. These small town vendors that used to sell 1 and 2 pallets and you can walk in and buy whatever you want. The bin stores are literally buying their whole truckload out. So they don't really want anybody that's coming up and buying 1 or 2 pallets. They want somebody that's going to buy volume and buy big volume, that's going to sign a contract and it's going to have longevity. Guys, with us, we seek out the locations that will sell you 1 pallet, 2 pallets, or a truckload if you desire. So when you're getting this business, we encourage you guys to start really small and buy 1 pallet to get your feet wet, to truly find out if it's for you. Because in this pallet world, it's not all glamorous like people think. It's a very profitable business when you know what you're doing. But if you don't know what you're doing, you can lose a lot of money in this pallet flipping world. And this is what we want to do for you. We want to bridge the gap for you. We want to find you a legitimate location that's not going to scam you, because there's 2 scams in the pallet flipping business. Number 1, you can buy pallets from them and you can never receive a pallet. Okay. All over social media and the internet, there's people selling pallets, right? There's a lot of scams out there. That's one of the number 1 scams that are out there, pallet flipping, because of course, pallet flipping is trending right now. Number 2, you can find a location and you can purchase a pallet. And guess what? You can physically get the pallet. They will ship that pallet to you. But who's to say that they didn't just sell you garbage? Okay? Who's to say they did not sell you garbage? Who's to say that everything in that pallet is broken and not sellable or just totally not what you're looking for? That is a scam, okay? That is a very common scam that's going on right now, because when you buy a pallet, you get what you get. You can't have a fit. There's no takebacks or anything like that. When you purchase it, it is literally yours. These pallets are big boxes. They're closed in. You can't see what's inside of it. A lot of these pallet companies, they'll put good stuff right on the top that you can see. And then down in the bottom, there's everything broken. There's returns in there. There's missing pieces and all of that stuff. The stuff that people really do not want, right? So that's a common scam that's out there now. So that's why I tell people, why would you want to go through that grief when you can pay us to find you a vendor that's closest in your area that's going to suit your needs, right? And then the vendors, just to get a vendor, that's one fee, but the mentorship is another fee. So, some of you guys may not need the whole mentorship because you already are in the resale business and you already know what to do. You just need legitimate vendors. We are here to help you find legitimate vendors as well. But be careful about the scams, guys. If you go out on your own and you start looking for vendors on your own, be careful, okay? Be very, very careful, right? The other thing about the pallet flipping business is once you decide this pallet flipping business is for you and you decide what store you want to buy a pallet from, guys, the next thing is to decide the kind of items that you want, right? So there's all kind of different pallets, guys. You can buy an appliance pallet. You can buy a electronics pallet. You can buy a clothing pallet. You can buy a mixed goods pallet. You can buy a Christmas pallet. You can buy a seasonal pallet. Like the list goes on and on and on. So these are a lot of things to consider when you're buying a pallet. And that's what we're here for. We're here to help you decide on what it is that you need to purchase that suits you. So because you can just start with us and sign up for a business conversation for $49.99. And we're going to figure out what kind of business you have, what kind of business you're trying to create around this pallet flipping. Do you have a boutique store and you just want new inventory? You don't want any returns? Because that's a good question. Or do you sell in the flea market? Do you do resale clothes and shoes? And you don't mind having stuff that are store returns, okay? Also, do you sell on eBay? You know, those are questions that we need to know to be able to better assist you. So I know a lot of people, they always want to jump the gun, and they're always just like, I want to buy a pallet, or I need a pallet location, and they'll run out and they'll buy this pallet. And when they have it, they just simply don't know what to do with it, or it was not what they were expecting. Guys, these are things for you to consider when you're getting in this business, because pallet flipping is not glamorous. You know, sometimes you're going to get amazing pallets, and sometimes you're not going to get such amazing pallets. But I'm here to tell you that the Pallet Couple, guys, and Get Stocked Up, we're here to help you get the best pallets out there on the market, and we're here to help you to get the biggest return that you possibly can get. Okay, so I'm going to encourage you guys to literally have the business conversation with us, the one-on-one, so that way we can see exactly what it is that you want to do. Guys, unfortunately, we will not answer questions in emails anymore. Unfortunately, we will not answer questions on Facebook anymore, because it's just really too time consuming to do one-on-ones and stuff like that. If you have questions that you want to be answered absolutely free, guess what, guys? Just simply follow us on social media. Follow us on Facebook, The Pallet Couple. Follow us on Get Stocked Up. You know, and whenever we're talking about pallet flipping and we open the forum up to questions, that will be your opportunity to actually answer your questions absolutely free, guys. But I'm going to tell you what everybody else wants to know. Is the pallet flipping business profitable? Yes, it is very, very profitable, guys. This is a business that we didn't just get into. We've been in this business for a long time. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. About 8 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, we were doing pallet flipping when pallet flipping wasn't a thing. When there was no term pallet flipping or anything like that. It just was straight liquidation, right? So we did that, and we made a very, very good living at this pallet flipping business. We actually done that pallet flipping business for about 10 years. You know, 8 to 10 years ago, we did it for 10 years consistently. And we made a lot of money off of it. Now, I'm going to tell you, while we got out of the pallet flipping business at that time, we got out because the vendor that we were using really started to get really bad products. So that's why we felt like that was the time to get out of the business. But about 9 months ago, this business came back full circle. One of our old contacts happened to call us up. Well, they actually found me on Facebook, and they asked me, was I me? And we happened to be in the area that they were in at the time. And they told us that they bought a truckload. And since we were in the area, we were just like, why not go back and, you know, just check it out, just to appease him, because, you know, we made so much money with this gentleman, so much money with this gentleman. So we went to check out what he had or whatever. And he had some really, really amazing stuff from Amazon. So lo and behold, we bought a pallet. We stuffed it all inside of our Ford Escape, and we got it home. And just that very night, we started going through it. We were extremely excited because pallet flipping is just like Christmas. You just literally never know what you're going to get, right? So I got a wild hair up my butt, and I went live that night. And we started selling directly on that live. And guess what? That night, we made all our money back from that pallet. The second day, we put the rest of the stuff up for sale, and we doubled our money in literally 2 days. And in this pallet flipping world, guys, with us, we basically make all our money back in 2 days, and the profit just starts rolling in. But it is such a profitable business. It has turned our business world upside down. Our business model that we used to have is kind of thrown out of the window, guys. But it's so much, and it's so exciting. But like I said, in everything, there's a good side of it and there's a bad side of it. But that's why we're here. We want to help you to experience the good side of it. We want you to open up your pallet, like literally cut it open. If you follow us on social media, you have seen us cut that huge box open, and the stuff starts falling out, and we get to look at everything, and we're like, oh, it's a fire pit. Oh, it's a laptop. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. Like, we want you guys to have that feeling every single time that you guys buy a pallet. We want you to get excited just like we do. We want you to see your money back in the first couple of items that you literally pull out of this pallet. And that's what we want to teach you. We want to teach you how to pick out a pallet, the right questions to ask when you're purchasing a pallet. We want to teach you how to flip that pallet within 7 days. We want to teach you how to keep that money coming, right? And how to keep your customers coming as well. So if you're interested in this pallet flipping business, if you feel like it's for you, by all means, pay for the business conversation with us, guys. We are more than happy to have a conversation with you about it, because it is so much information that we can give you guys. It's so much. And maybe some of you guys are watching this and you feel like, hey, I already pallet flip. You know, I just need a vendor. I just need a good, legitimate vendor. Just purchase a vendor, guys. You don't have to purchase the whole mentorship. If you feel like, I just want to buy a pallet, I don't want to have a vendor, I just want to buy a pallet, hey, we will sell you a full pallet, guys. Okay. Also, if you think, oh, I think this is kind of for me and I just kind of want to see the kind of items you can get, you can buy a box lot. You can buy a mini pallet or a box lot just to get your feet wet. So that way you're not investing $1,000 into a mentorship, guys. You can do a mini mentorship as well. So make sure you browse this page. Make sure you create an account so that way you can see what we're all about and see the different things that we offer. But just to sum it up, guys, this is a very, very profitable business. Don't feel like the market is saturated, because it's really, really not. Our model is so different from a bin store. We are not a bin store at all, okay? We never want to be a bin store. Bin stores is a whole nother can of worms. It's a good business, but it is definitely not for everybody, guys. Not at all. You know, and we can teach you guys the ins and out of this business. But if you don't remember anything else, let me tell you what pallet flipping is all over again. It's simply buying store overstock, shelf pulls, store returns, etc., from major chain stores like Macy's, Target, Walmart, Dollar General, Family Dollar, Von Moore, Nordstrom. It goes on and on. So when you get into this pallet flipping business, number one, you have to decide if you want store liquidations, overstock, shelf pulls. Number two, you have to decide where you want it from. Number three, you got to decide what kind of merchandise you want. Now, we cannot give you a price of a pallet because everybody prices vary. Everybody prices vary. I will tell you this though. If somebody try to sell you a pallet for less than $500 and it's a full-size pallet, guys, 9 times out of 10, it is definitely a scam. I have never run across anybody legitimate that have pallets for less than $500, unless it's a clothing pallet, unless it's a mini pallet, guys, but never a full-size pallet. Y'all be careful out there in this world, this pallet flipping world, because there's so many scammers that have entered into this business. They didn't just start scamming. They've been scamming for years and years and years, okay? So now is your time to decide, is pallet flipping for you? And if we're the right fit for you, okay? Your next move after this video is to really schedule a business conversation with us. If you schedule a business conversation, make sure that you write down all your questions, okay? Write down your top 3 and at least have 10 questions for us, and we will be more than happy to answer those questions for you. Keep in mind, the only question we will not answer for you is, we will not give you any vendors. We will not tell you where to purchase them. We will not tell you how to find them online, because if you Google pallet flipping, you're going to get a pallet. You're going to get a real live pallet, which is a square, wooden, flat platform. That's what you're going to get that's coming up. Keep in mind, pallet locations do not want to be found, okay? They want to do big business, but we can get you pallet locations that will sell you 1 and 2 pallets, however many pallets that you like, guys. So, like I said, if you like what you just heard, sign up for the business conversation, guys, and we will be here to assist you, okay? Thank you so much.